In 1986, James Cameron made one of the greatest sci-fi action films of all time, Aliens. The film was being shot overseas with a British crew who did not think highly of the young American filmmaker and did whatever they could to completely undermine everything he said. Every effect that he knew would work, they would tell him he didn't know what he was talking about, he didn't know what he was doing. So did he back down? Actually, he did the opposite. He showed them himself, and every single time, bam, it worked just like he said it would. So then the movie was completed, and he went to his producers and said, I really think the movie needs to open with this big, epic laser burning through the door, right? It's cutting open the door, and it would just make for this badass opening. And the producers said, no. They said, no fucking way. They said, the only way we're going to do this is if you pay for that yourself. It'll come out of your own pocket or it's not happening. So he did. He said, okay, whatever. It's going in the movie. You're not going to stop me. And he paid for it out of pocket himself just so he could have that amazing opening. I wonder how many, independent filmmakers would go through these great lengths to make sure that their vision was completed the way they knew it should be. You know what I mean? I mean, that takes another level of commitment to your project. But you can't back down. You got to fight for your vision. You have to show them that it is yours. Okay, so here's another one. So, of course, everybody knows about the epic success story of Rocky. But what you might not know is that Sylvester Stallone had to fight for the most important scene in the entire movie. The scene where he and Adrian are on the bed in his apartment, and he's explaining to her why he just needs to know that he can go the distance, and that will mean everything to him, and it'll mean that he's worth it or whatever. That was the most critical, important scene to the whole story and to the whole, everything. It was everything that the movie was. It was the heart of the movie. And the producers told him that he couldn't have it. They needed to cut the scene completely. And he was like, "Are you freaking kidding me? You can't pull that out." And he was like, "It has to be in there." And he fought him on it. And they said, "Okay, fine. You can have one take." So they gave him one take to shoot the most important scene in the entire movie that they, of course, can't understand. No one's ever going to understand why something is important to your vision. Only you can see that. So they give him one shot at it. He nails it in one take, and the movie goes on to do all the amazing things that it has, and winning the Academy Awards, and of course he becomes one of the biggest stars of all time. I would argue that none of that success would have ever happened if they had taken this one tiny pivotal scene out of the movie. If he had not fought for it and fought for his vision, then maybe we wouldn't even know who the hell Sylvester Stallone is. I don't know. But my point is, but I think you get my point. Another cool example is from one of my favorite movies, American Psycho. So the director, Mary Harron, I hope I'm saying that right, wanted to open with a cool sequence of all the extravagant food that these rich yuppie types eat. This was a very big part of the book, and the author went into great detail describing all of these dishes for a reason, to show the overindulgent nature of their everyday life, right? So once again, the producers of the movie say that there's not, it's not worth putting money for that scene. So she had to literally fight just to have the opening sequence showing these incredibly outrageous and expensive dishes at the very beginning of the movie. And this is a critical part of the book. She fought just to have it in there. I mean, it's in there, for just a brief second, but at least she fought for it so that she could have that in there. I'm trying to show you guys here that it's so important not to let people run over your vision and just take it from you. One reason I love to watch commentary tracks for Ridley Scott movies is because of his openness and honesty about what he goes through. When he was making the movie Alien, when Sigourney Weaver is inside of the spacecraft, there's a moment where you see atmosphere, right, outside of the spaceship. Ridley Scott's Alien is one of the most beautifully shot movies of all time, in my opinion. But anyways, there's a cool moment where the atmospheric set that he had throughout the entire movie is then in space. So you see all this foggy, beautiful atmosphere outside the ship. But everyone on the set, all of his producers, whoever it was that's helping him make the film, they're like, dude, there's no atmosphere in space. This doesn't make sense. So did he back down or say, well, I guess you're right? No, in his exact words, he looked at them and said, well, guess what? In my movie, there is atmosphere in space. Deal with it. I mean, that's freaking badass. You can't, I mean, that's how you have to be. You let people know, whoa, you're stepping on my vision right now. Drop it and let's move on. I want atmosphere in fucking space. Period. That's in the story. And you gotta get that way, man. I've been on sets. I'm just telling you guys this stuff because I've been on sets and watched people get their fucking vision stolen from them, or not stolen from them, but trampled on. People are like, no. I've had people try to do that with me several ways. I could go on and on showing you how people have on my projects alone are like, nah, it's too dark. No, wait, why is it backlit that way? That doesn't make sense. And then I do it that way, and people are like, oh, wow, that looks pretty fucking cool. And I'm like, yeah, no shit. Why were you trying to fucking argue with me about it? Anyways, I'm going to move on. So that brings me to a similar situation on the last film that I made. We needed fog outside of where this certain scene was going to take place, because if we didn't have something there to make it more interesting looking, more intriguing to the audience, I mean, it would be boring as shit to look at, and we didn't want that. So a few people on our set told us, just go ahead and put that shit up. Just go ahead and put it up. It doesn't make any sense to have the fog. It's too windy. Just put them up. And I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, I look at my co-director and we're like, fuck that. So she walks up herself and she grabs the fog machines and she's like, we're using the fog, we're plugging in the machines, period, that's how it's going. So we move on, and boom, lo and behold, everyone tells us at the end of the movie that this is one of the best looking scenes in the entire film. And honestly, this shot right here is one of my favorite shots in the whole film. It would look boring as shit if we had not used the fog. I just wanted to show you guys that my point is you can't let people take your vision from you. You can't let people tell you certain things, because the small stuff or the stuff that seems small to them is really a big part of your vision, and it's important to you, so you can't let them take that away. They don't realize that that's a big part of your vision. They don't even understand that. They can't, because they're not in your head seeing what you're seeing for your film. If the vision for your project is worth turning into a film and putting all this work in, then it's worth protecting and it's worth fighting for, right? All of the greats did this. They fought, and now look at them. So you got to follow in their footsteps, and you can't let people push you around, and you got to fight for what you believe in. And that's it. So with that being said, I'll just end it right there. Hope you guys got something out of this video, and or at least found it interesting in some way. And I hope you guys will subscribe to my channel, and I will see you next time.